The sound of the singers, which introduces another episode, today's episode, appropriately enough, of Get a Better Broadcast Podcast and Voice Over Voice. Hello, I'm Peter Stewart. On Twitter, I'm Tweeter Stewart, TWEETERSTEWART. Bring you short daily tips on how to get a better broadcast podcast and voice over voice. Yesterday we were talking about voice over eye, brain, mouth control, which is particularly important when it comes to audiobook narration, because there's so much there. You could be sitting in a studio for hours on end, day after day after day, to get through potentially hundreds of pages. So you've got to make sure that you know the text, that you're not going to be tripping up over unusual words. You've therefore prepared the text so you know what's upcoming, that you can scan ahead while your mouth is reading some of the words. Yeah, and the importance, as I mentioned at the back end of yesterday's show, about punch and roll voice recording. Okay, it's a little bit out of our direct area of how to get a better broadcast podcast and voice over voice, but it does bear mentioning now, because if you do trip up over your words, you're going to get more stressed, and of course that is going to lose you money, it's going to lose you time, and also it's going to lose a bit of voice control. Yeah, it's going to make it more difficult for you to speak in a more natural tone because of the stress and the tension which is around you mentally and physically as you're recording in your booth. So what, Peter, is the punch and roll technique which you can use to save recording time? Let's have a look. This is when you mark or punch in the point in your recorded audio where you made a mistake. And the digital audio workstation recorder, whatever it happens to be, whether it be a really posh one that you spend hundreds of pounds on, or a medium one like Hindenburg, which is really, really good, or whether it's going to be something like Audacity, which is free, the DAW, the digital audio workstation, or the DAW, then plays back a few seconds of you speaking before that point, which is called the pre-roll. And when it reaches the point that you've told it, this is the point after which I made a mistake, when it reaches that moment, it goes from playback to recording. And that enables you to make your correction and continue your recording. And doing this really speeds up your editing. And because you're picking up by hearing what came before, you're more likely to match your original read, the tone, the intonation, the speed, the accent, and so on, and your re-record will be better. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is punch and roll voice recording. Tomorrow, clarity, consistency, and concentration in voice acting for audiobook narration, as Get a Better Broadcast Podcast and Voice Over Voice continues. From London, I'm Peter Stewart.